Howdy folks, I'm Dirk Tharp and welcome to the Carolinas Concrete Cowboy. Today's subject is going to cover masonry cement, bagged masonry cement versus bagged mortar mix. I know you want to know. So saddle up, let's ride. So in our discussion, we're going to talk about masonry cement in the bag versus bagged mortar and what is the difference. So let's start with masonry cement. Masonry cement, you'll notice, comes with a type on it. The type lets you know the strength it's going to get once it's mixed or proportioned. We'll talk more about that in a second. The first thing is masonry cement is a blend of Portland cement plus hydrated or slaked lime. So come on in here and let's look at some. There is masonry cement. Very like Portland cement, except the lime makes this powder actually fluffier. So the first thing to point out about the masonry cement is this is Sackcrete's brand. I'm just using a Sackcrete brand as the example. Please understand that this is generic information or general information. No matter whose brand is on the bag, the properties are the same. It's the same general end of the day rules that apply. Now with that said, let's move into masonry cement. When you see on the bag masonry cement, as this one says, it means it's a blend of masonry cement plus hydrated or slaked lime, as we said previously, and there's other admixtures for enhancement of the product. However, don't assume that's everywhere. In some parts of the country, you are going to see it says masonry cement, and below it it'll say Portland cement plus lime. What that means is, in that market, the spec drivers have made it such that they want to know exactly, from a building perspective and a specification perspective, what is in that bag. So they will know that it's straight up Portland cement plus lime, and that's their masonry cement in that market. So if you see that bag, they are different, and there will be different feeling too when you mix up the mortar on the job site between these two. Rarely will you run into a situation where both are on the shelf wherever it is you're shopping, or whatever block or brickyard you're in. Generally, it's driven by a region. It's a regional effect. Now, we now understand that this is a powder. Obviously, we can't just mix water and lay brick. We've got to add mortar sand. So when you buy masonry cement, you need to understand that you are buying the raw ingredient. You're still going to have mortar. Generally, on a commercial job or a home, where a home builder is building a house, you're going to see piles of sand and pallets of mortar mix, masonry cement to make mortar. This plus this equals mortar mixed, where you can lay block or brick, even hanging stone. The proportions are going to vary according to to what your crew likes. In general rule of thumb, it's 1 part masonry cement to 2.5 to 3 parts mortar sand. Add water to the consistency you want. When you get into, well, what is a part? In real life, people are throwing shovels, right? They're doing X amount of shovels to 1 bag, and they know that's what they're going to do. It's a 3-bag mixer, so they'll put 3 bags of masonry cement, and then they'll put however many shovels of sand the crew's used to. That's not best practice. It's common. Best practice, honestly, is to proportion everything so it stays consistent, load to load to load, and the wall will look the same in coloration. This bag is 70. If it was type S, it would weigh more. But the key to it is it equals 1 cubic foot. So we're back to the proportions, 1 cubic foot of masonry cement to 2.5 to 3 parts. Well, those parts are actually cubic feet. So if you made a box on a job site out of plywood, for example, with handles, and it put exactly 1 cubic foot, that would be how you measure your sand to keep in proportion exact with your bags that you've already put into your mortar mixer. The next thing to point out is often you're going to see right beside the masonry cement, you're going to see an assortment of mortar mixes. The reason that both are sold is some people don't want to have to proportion sand. Mortar mix, the word mortar mix means, you hear that? It means the sand is in there. As the Amerimix brand shows you, it says pre-blended mortar mix. The rest of that sentence would be pre-blended, pre-proportioned, pre-engineered. So that all you have to do is add water and you have a consistent product. As long as you keep the water similar per bag, you'll have a consistent mix, bag to bag, load to load. So that's why both are sold in the store or your block yard or your brick yard. The next thing to point out is this, you see, says type in, and then over here in the mortar mix is type in. What that means is these ends, and over here we have Sackcrete and Amerimix type S, both are type S. At the end of the day, each will equal the same strength or the design strength specified. So a type in, according to whose chart you use, but for the sake of this talk, 750 psi. It generally is just used for like brick fascia. It's non-structural. S is your structural mortar, 1800 psi, according to whose chart you use, and it's for all-purpose. But definitely any structural block walls have to be made with S. So when we are in a store, the decision you're going to make is, how big's that job to where am I going to mess with this, add my own sand, or am I going to do the convenience of a pre-mixed bag of mortar? Honestly, with one of the things that you really need to think about is your job conditions and dust emission, particulates in the air. OSHA's not loving that. We really think the industry's moving to more of a pre-mixed bag to stop all of the silicates blowing up in the air when you're hand mixing mortars. This is the more convenient way to go. But the decision is yours. I just wanted you to understand this Cowboy episode is to explain why is masonry cement and mortar mix always offered in the stores together. And now you understand there is a difference in those two products, not interchangeable. And hopefully this will help you make better decisions going forward in your projects. My name is Dirk Tharp. This has been the Carolinas Concrete Cowboy. And until next time, yippee-ki-yay concrete. Legal disclaimer. The views expressed by the Carolinas Concrete Cowboy, although profound, and his actions, albeit masterful, are his and his alone. If you've enjoyed these videos, please like and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Carolinas Concrete Cowboy. And by all means, we look for your feedback. If you've got a session you'd like us to do or some questions you'd like answered, give me the feedback below or email me at carolinasconcretecowboy@gmail.com. Happy trails.